Feedback, it's meant to be, a gift. It's meant to be what we enjoy. Now, the reality is that your brain is geared to look for pain and pleasure, and that's the amygdala in there. It's a little part of your brain, and it's always on, scanning for potential pleasure, but also scanning for danger. Now, anything that, like negative feedback, is going to be seen as danger. And what anything like negative feedback is going to do is going to make your brain hyper-focused on that threat. The person giving you feedback may see you're brilliant at loads and loads of things, but you're just going to hear the one but. You're going to hear the one problem. So how do you, as a manager, give feedback in a way that is seen as a gift and is a way that is accepted? So first of all, you've got to give the feedback as near to the opportunity, as near to that time as possible. It's got to be as near to the time as possible. The longer you leave it, the more you maybe as a manager start to get resentful. And if it's positive feedback, the less value it has the longer you leave it. So the first tip is to give it as soon as possible. The second tip is ditch feedback models like KISS, I think it's keep it simple, stupid. Ditch any feedback models. You've got to give it as real as possible. Ditch any feedback sandwiches. You don't want to give, positive, negative, positive, because people are still only going to hear the negative. What you're aiming to do is make sure that the feedback is heard and understood, and also something is going to happen about it, if it's negative, of course. So, of course, if it's positive, it's easy. Now, you might think that people really appreciate public recognition. Not everyone does. It's different strokes for different folks. So what you've got to do is know the individuals well enough. Do they appreciate the positive feedback in public, or do they prefer it given in private? The second thing is with feedback is we need to take the subjectiveness out of it. We need to take the opinion as much out of it. It's got to be, what did I see and what was the impact of that? It's not about you were great, but, try and take that but out of it. Is, in the meeting, so the situation, I saw you do this, so I saw you not say a word in the meeting. In the meeting, I saw you not say a word. What was the behaviour? You didn't say a word. What was the outcome? The outcome of that was the client just spoke to me. When we last sat down, you wanted to have more opportunity to build the relationship with client, to build the profile. The impact of that was the client still spoke to me. So let's talk about how in future I can support you. Now, it's really important that it's not about you putting the blame on them. It's about, if I'm your line manager, I am responsible for your behavior. So it's not about you did wrong there. Anything where you put blame is really going to put them into a defensive state. So it is about situation, behavior, outcome. And then how can I support you? What needs to happen differently? How can I help you? So in that example, when we're next with this client, or between now and then, how do I help you start to have the dialogue and lead the relationship? What do I need to do to help you? Have you noticed you're not telling them what, you're asking them, what do I need to do? And what you're trying to do is get them to take ownership. The really important, and I can't stress it enough, is don't put the blame on them. You should have done this, you should have done that. It's going to put them in a defensive state. It's about take responsibility yourself for their actions, because if you're their line manager, your role is to help them perform at that high level. So it's about, what can I do to support you? Identify the behaviour, identify the situation, identify the behaviour, identify the outcome, and then ask the question, what can I do to support you?